Davy Crockett was the king of the wild frontier. He stood as a symbol for America, a man of the West, and the future of a new republic. Heroes are created, not born. Before this legendary hero lived a man named David Crockett, who eventually became one of America's most well-known folk heroes. He lived at the dawn of the manifest destiny, when America was in the process of expanding. He was drawn to the rich wilderness in the West. Crockett was a large man, standing between 5 and 6 feet tall. He loved being outdoors, called himself a hunter, and felt most alive when he was outdoors. He was famous for telling tall tales about himself. David's proudest possession was his long rifle, Old Betsy. His marksmanship was skill with his rifle, and it became his first trademark. It took tremendous strength to load, fire, and especially carry his gun around all day. During the Revolutionary War at King Mountain in Tennessee, Crockett's father John fought the British, and he was also poor. He was born 10 years later in one of the prettiest spots in eastern Tennessee. He was the 5th son out of 9 children, so he stood no chance of becoming great in any other way than by accident. In 1799, David's father insisted that he attend school. On the first day, he got in a fight with the bullies. He was afraid to go back home and afraid to go back to school the next day because his father had paid a lot of money for his schooling. David was skipping school, and when his father found out, his father said he was going to punish him with a hickory stick unless he started immediately. He was afraid of his father's punishment, so he ran away when he was 13. David married Mary Polly Finley in Tennessee on August 15, 1806. They had 2 children. They had their first child, John Wesley, within a year of when they had built their cabin. Mary passed away in 1815. David then married Elizabeth Patton. They had 3 children together. David wasn't afraid to discuss politics and was ignorant among the issues. However, he could not tell anyone anything about the government. He wrote a biography about himself that was a huge success. A series of almanacs were published from 1835 to 1856, and they enhanced the popularity of David Crockett. In 1821, Crockett served for 2 terms in the Tennessee State Legislature. 2 years later, he ran for the House of Representatives and won in 1827, 1829, and 1833. He later moved to San Antonio, Texas in February of 1835, where the Alamo took place. Crockett arrived and fought alongside the Texans against the Mexican army. The Alamo was a church that over 100 men occupied. William Travis, James Bowie, and later David Crockett led the Alamo defenders. On February 24th, the Mexican army, led by Santa Anna, attacked and the Alamo fell by 8 o'clock a.m. 185 Texan soldiers and between 400 and 600 Mexicans died. Mexico took out Texas' defenses and won the Battle of the Alamo. William Travis and James Bowie died, but it was said that Crockett was one of the last defenders to die during the final assault. On April 21, 1836, General Sam Houston led over 700 men against the Mexican army that had around 1,500 soldiers. Houston and his army captured Santa Anna. This was known as the Battle of Jacinto, and it resulted in Texas independence. Remember the Alamo was Texas' battle cry. Davy Crockett died on March 6, 1836. He was basically forgotten through the 19th century, until Disney came out with 3 popular shows about him. There are numerous statues and monuments about him. He had little proper education, but at the same time, he knew how to lead an army. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier.
Davy Crockett, the man who don't know fear. He went off to Congress and served a spell, fixing up the government